Hi, welcome to Movie Theater. After Mrs. Ng's eye surgery, she learns that her vision will be temporarily impaired and it'll take 3 days for her eyes to heal. Fortunately, being married to a successful surgeon, Jack Ng, means they can afford a maid. May is in charge of all the household tasks but still finds time to flirt with her cop friend who has tickets for a popular singer's concert. May agrees to go with him on one condition: he has to do a favor for her first. Take Jack's film roll to the store for developing since she forgot and doesn't want any trouble with her boss. The first day of blindness goes well as Jack teases his wife and they have fun together. Sadly, Jack can't stay with Mrs. Ng during recovery as he needs to attend a conference in Macau. Before leaving, he takes Mrs. Ng's cell phone as his own was not charged, which is why he drops it on the couch. Soon after, May asks permission to leave too as she needs more asthma medicine but promises to return shortly thereafter. Now that she's all by herself, Mrs. Ng decides to bask in the fresh air while spending time with her pup. But, before she can even blink, her pet is already running away and is caught by a man named Sam, who quickly ties it to his doghouse. Apparently, he and Jack used to go to school together and Jack later operated on Sam's wife. Mrs. Ng invites him in for a beverage but he only helps her get inside before deciding to take off. She ends up dozing off on the couch and wakes up in the evening to find a storm outside. May hasn't come back yet, which is concerning. However, it's Sam who returns, ringing the doorbell and informing her that he couldn't get a taxi due to the weather. Without hesitation, Mrs. Ng lets him in and offers some food plus hot tea as well as letting him borrow some of Jack's clothes. In the couple's room, Jack jumps on the bed while eating a delicious banana like royalty. Afterward, Mrs. Ng and Sam sit in the living room for a little chat session. Sam proudly tells his wife about his job at the printing house and how much he loves her, but soon his sweet words turn into a rant about how she won't let him touch her because of the ink in his nails. Realizing what he has done, he apologizes and decides to leave as the rain has stopped. Mrs. Ng goes back to her routine, yet she can't shake off the feeling of being watched. She ignores it and takes a shower, only to find out that Sam had been in the house all along, playing a twisted game of creepy control with no physical contact. But he can't help himself and splashes some water at her, making Mrs. Ng panic. Sam runs away, but when Mrs. Ng cautiously comes downstairs to investigate, Sam reappears and pretends that he had just returned from outside after fighting off an intruder and evicting them from the house. Afterward, Sam slyly slips some sleeping medicine into a glass of milk he presents to Mrs. Ng, pretending to be on the lookout for the intruder. Once he leaves, Mrs. Ng locks the door and tries to phone the police, only to discover the wires have been cut. The sedative takes effect and she falls asleep. In the morning, Mrs. Ng wakes up to find Sam eating at her bed's foot. He drags her downstairs where breakfast awaits, but Mrs. Ng insists they call the cops first. To humor her, Sam grabs the phone and pretends to dial them. However, since she tried it last night, Mrs. Ng knows it is not working and realizes Sam has been behind everything all along. She attempts to make him leave by saying Jack will be back soon, yet Sam is aware he is away on a trip since he has been planning this for a year. He also kidnapped May and has her in his car's trunk. Mrs. Ng panics and tries to escape from the house but finds all exits locked while Sam throws a tantrum due to being bitten by a rat. Sam then decides to smoke Jack's pricey cigarettes while Mrs. Ng tidies the mess he made. As she moves about, Sam inches closer to her and inquires about her innermost cravings, wondering if she has ever desired anyone other than Jack. Eventually, he pushes her down in an attempt to get frisky with her, causing Mrs. Ng to grab a fire poker for protection. Yet Sam effortlessly takes it away and bites her neck as retribution. Hours later, Sam prepares lunch and forces Mrs. Ng to eat it even if she is not hungry, which soon causes her to become ill after he confesses he cooked the dog. He won't let her go unless she finishes it all, so Mrs. Ng must keep eating while sobbing profusely. Afterward, while Sam watches some family tapes, Mrs. Ng sprints to the bathroom and vomits everything she has eaten. She then tries yelling for help, but since no one can hear her, she has a meltdown as she begins smashing the objects in the bathroom. After calming down, Mrs. Ng returns to her room where Sam acts as if nothing has happened and starts talking about his wife again, claiming that she didn't want him to touch her due to another man, not because of his nails ink. He then orders Mrs. Ng to massage and feed him while he watches TV, giving her time to devise a plan. She pretends to have an asthma attack and mentions May's name, but when Sam fetches the medicine from May's bag, he finds it empty since he never let her go to the store. Not wanting his victim to die yet, Sam reluctantly agrees to go shopping for more medicine. However, he locks Mrs. Ng in a closet before leaving. Fortunately, she is quick thinking and gets some of her dress stuck in the door so she can open it once Sam is gone. She looks for her keys but finds them all broken. Then she spots Jack's cell phone on the couch but its battery is dead. Mrs. Ng starts crying until she remembers the charger in her room and starts climbing the stairs with it in hand. At that very moment, Sam returns and the fear causes Mrs. Ng to trip and fall. There's no time to reach her room, so, in order to avoid Sam finding out about her scheme, she quickly shoves the battery between her legs to conceal it. When Sam finds her, he doesn't sense anything and leads Mrs. Ng to her room for her to take her medicine and rest, thus granting Mrs. Ng the opportunity to place the battery on the charger once he is gone. Later that night, Sam barges into the room and scolds Mrs. Ng as he had discovered the medicine belonged to May. As a punishment, Sam reveals that Jack, his wife's lover, had been her doctor. For 2 years, Sam had kept quiet about their affair as he wanted his wife to recover. However, in the end she died due to a heart attack, meaning Jack hadn't done his job properly. This is why Sam wants revenge by doing unto Mrs. Ng what Jack did unto his wife. Mrs. Ng refuses to believe it. However, Sam promises she'll know the truth when Jack arrives before exiting outside for a cigarette break. Moments later, a robber barged in and found Mrs. Ng in her room, trying to protect herself with an umbrella, but he easily overpowered her and tied her to the bed, disregarding her pleas about Sam as he thought she was bluffing. He then rummaged through the house to steal some items before returning to the bedroom, intending to get a bit too friendly with Mrs. Ng. In an effort to defend herself, she bit him, making him step back and collide with Sam, who immediately started beating him up, burning him with a cigarette and squeezing his private parts painfully. To shut the thief up, Sam then shoved a banana in his mouth and used a pair of scissors between his legs for extra damage. As the thief fainted, someone rang the doorbell. It was the policeman come to pick May for the concert. Sam pretended to be Jack and told him May wasn't there, which made the cop quite suspicious. He forced his way in and asked for a drink. While Sam was busy in the kitchen, he went upstairs to investigate further. When he opens the door, Sam stops him, handing him a drink and lying that Mrs. Ng is unwell, when in fact the person under the sheets is an unconscious thief. Sam had also placed a wedding photo on the table, but had photoshopped his face over Jack's with a picture from his wallet. Meanwhile, Mrs. Ng manages to push open the closet doors where Sam had locked her in, although her mouth, hands and feet are still bound together, making it difficult for her to move. As Sam sends away the cop, Mrs. Ng makes it to the kitchen and uses an object to cut off her ropes before fleeing out of the back door. Her vision slowly starts to return, allowing her to see a faint light on the road, and she heads towards it for help. The driver has a gentle voice, and when Mrs. Ng touches their hand she realizes it's a woman, which gives her assurance that she's safe now. Actually, it's Sam changing his voice and using May's body, and he takes Mrs. Ng back to the house. Meanwhile, the cop remembers he forgot to leave the pictures in the house, and when he looks at them, he realizes the man wasn't Jack. He hurriedly goes back with his gun ready, and as he sneaks around the house he finds Mrs. Ng in the bathroom. He promises to help her escape, but while distracted Sam takes advantage of this and stabs him to death. Afterward, Sam brings Mrs. Ng to the couch to try and get intimate with her, dropping the cop's gun nearby. Mrs. Ng pretends to be into it while she tries to grab her gun, but her plan is interrupted when Jack suddenly arrives home. Thinking it's a regular situation, Jack pushes Sam away from his wife and kicks him a few times before turning towards Mrs. Ng to scold her for being unfaithful. This gives Sam enough time to recover the gun and shoot Jack in his leg before making him admit that he had cheated on his wife before she died. While Sam continues beating up Jack, Mrs. Ng's vision starts coming back. It's still blurry, but she manages to find a fire poker and hit Sam with it. Unfortunately, Sam's not deterred and simply takes the poker from her before resuming his assault on Jack. Little does he know Mrs. Ng is regaining her sight, so she takes advantage of this to grab a few items and devise a plan. She scatters thumbtacks across the floor, and when Sam steps on them while searching for her, she leaps out from behind and uses a spray can with a lighter to scorch his face. Unfortunately, the spray can runs out quickly, forcing Mrs. Ng to make a dash for the kitchen where she hurls powder into Sam's eyes before clobbering him with a piece of frozen food. He attempts to fend her off with the fire poker but can't see properly, so instead he opts to drive her out by turning on the burners. Before he can start a fire though, Mrs. Ng pounces on him and stabs him with a pencil before fleeing. When she makes it back to the living room, her vision is fully restored at last. Mrs. Ng spots Sam coming after her, so she acts like she's still blind in order to surprise him when he gets close. She runs into the kitchen, grabs a load of beer cans and sticks them in the microwave, switching it on before finding a place to hide. Sam attempts to follow her, but as he tries to open the door, the microwave explodes and knocks him out. Mrs. Ng comes out, believing it's safe now, only to find Sam awake and trying to attack her. Without any other options, Mrs. Ng grabs a fire poker and stabs him with it. Afterwards, she goes into the living room and finds her husband asking for forgiveness. Mrs. Ng refuses because it's his fault she's now a murderer, but as she gets closer to yell at him, she notices Sam was behind Jack's body pretending to be him. This is the last straw for her and she starts pummeling him with the fire poker until he's dead for good. After that, Mrs. Ng moves to the city and lives alone as an independent woman. When someone tries taking the cab she stopped from her, Mrs. Ng pushes them away while reminding them nobody should treat women like weaklings who can be bullied around. And movie ends here. Hit the like button if you have enjoyed watching this video and don't forget to subscribe our channel for more videos. Thanks for watching.